Hi, it's another Tuesday Talk episode where I did all of the artwork on Sunday and Monday and then record this on Tuesday because time management is difficult. So today I'm talking about the Two Towers, just like how I talked about Fellowship of the Ring last year. Honestly, I don't have much to say in the way that I did last year because I talked about like my relationship with the books and the movies and very specifically going into like things I enjoyed about it and all of that. But Two Towers has always been like my favorite of the three, and I surprisingly have very little to say about it. Besides the fact that like currently like I've spent all week rereading, and when I mean rereading I mean re-listening to Fellowship of the Rings, and I'm like only like 6 chapters in to the Two Towers, so I had to pick a scene to draw that was in the beginning, and it was during the hunt for the Hobbits, that being Merry and Pippin, done by Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. So, that's basically all I'm drawing. But I'm only drawing Aragorn because I didn't have time to draw the other two, nor did I really want to. And I already had so much trouble drawing him. Like, if you think that the time that I spent working on like his hands and his left arm and like all that positioning and the sword, like I spent a very long time not in it, and I just realized that I made his arm too long, and it's too late to fix that now. And yeah, I did a lot of this yesterday. So the Two Towers, it turned 20 years old on the 18th, so Sunday, which is great because I have been watching that movie for a very long time. I remember that I would usually skip Fellowship. I don't remember why. I just remember as a kid, like, I would skip that because I really liked the Two Towers better. So I would always put that on, and that would be like the jumping off point. That would be the one that I watched. Unlike last year, I did not watch all the movies in preparation for this or to get in the zone. I did for Rings of Power because that came out a while ago. I watched all the Hobbit movies and Lord of the Rings movies, and then I was waiting, like, in the last day when Rings of Power came out. I started watching that. Yeah, it was a good television show. It's not the best television show, nor is it like perfect to the source material, but none of these are. I think honestly, and that we see this specifically with Two Towers, I'll say, just because of what I talked about last time with Boromir's funeral and how that's split. Like, we open up with finding out what happened, which is clearly not what happened in the movie. Tolkien's work is too much. It is much more than is really necessary, and if that was authentically put from book to screen, we would be here for hours. Much more than we think. And, there are, probably plenty of people that would be like, that's great. But from a writing point of view, the movies are fine. They're great. Even the whole good versus evil, G versus E is okay. Like, it's the world is a little bit more black and white than that, or a little less black and white than that. Like, so it's not like the greatest, but it is good accomplishing what it does. And his books don't translate perfectly because they're honestly too, how would I say this simply? They're too meaty. There's too much in there that is, skippable. I know a lot of people really like Tom Bombadil, but his character, besides like a few mentions of him later, could be completely cut out because he doesn't really serve any purpose to the plot besides just, standing there. And I really think that one of the things that frustrated me the most was that I think more people should have been interested in the ring, even, subconsciously, because, like, it was supposed to have a pull on people, and we saw, like, the great lengths that, like, Gollum looked at it, Smeagol looked at it for 2 seconds, and then just murdered a man, who he was very close with. I believe they were cousins, but in, like, Hobbit world, that's, being cousins is a lot closer than it probably is for, us. So, the relationship is, who knows? And I know that's just, like, nitpicking, but I think that, there are a lot of aspects that were really underutilized, and there were some aspects that were, like, pretty, pointless, or just, like, had to be cut out. Like, with, when they're in, talking to the Ents. I love Ents. I think they're great. There's way too much time spent on songs, on, they spent like 3 days as the meeting was happening. I think in the movies that happens, a lot better with Treebeard being led there, and then war happening. I'm so sorry, that was my bottle. It just happened to be right next to that. That's gonna be a fun sound. I think it's more impactful in the movies because in the books it's, it does not seem as dramatic. Like, we have Treebeard saying basically the same line of, like, this is, like, there's no way to say this. This is, immeasurable. This is, truly the worst thing that's ever happened to us. And then they just have a meeting and they talk about it, and it takes them like 3 days to even do anything. It feels much more impactful that as they are, going, as he has this emotional release, then everyone just agrees with him, and they go to war. I think it's I think this book and movie is very war heavy, which is cool because they have some great fight scenes. And I know I'm talking about stuff that only happens in the first few chapters, but I honestly, I know I've gotten through all of the books, and rereading it right now, I have not even hit halfway. I'm probably about a third of the way through, so I really don't have much to say on later points, besides what I can remember, and mostly that's just the war. People fought, um, and that was interesting. I like the scene where Theoden, he's like got the influences have been gone, and he like walks out the door or something, and he like yells and raises his sword like in triumph, and it's great, and then it spooks all the guards, and they come charging up like expecting a battle to be happening or something like that, and they just see their king looking better than he has. I think that's a great scene. I think it's a really good scene. And you can tell I didn't have a script because I'm saying a lot. I truly woke up this morning and then waited like an hour and am now recording. So truly did not plan this through, nor do I have much to say. Really, it's a solid movie. It's a decent book. I mean, there's a lot of things happening. It is very battle heavy. It's very lore heavy, which is all, Tolkien does. I do enjoy the scenes later on with where Gimli is in the caves, the painted caves or something like that, and he gets Legolas to agree that they can see it. I also like when they send away the armies. I don't remember if that happens in this book or not. They like send off the army of orcs, and the orcs flee into the forest, and the forest just squashes them because it's all Ents. I do enjoy a lot of just the small socialization details that these characters have in the movies. I like Brago. I love the memes of just like, you were nice to that horse and you let him go. He's gonna save you again one day. And Aragorn being like, okay. I think it's also very interesting that that Brago is like that. He was this horse that is so severely traumatized because the rider died while on top of him. I feel like we don't talk about that much, but Brago has PTSD, and that's probably why he likes Aragorn, because Aragorn is a calming guy with animals, and probably soothe that trauma or something. I don't know. It's I don't have a lot to say, so I'm gonna start talking about the picture now. This picture took me like 4 hours. The video itself is only like 3 hours. I only like screen recorded for like 3:15, I think. But this did take several hours. This is all like pretty much all I did on Monday. I woke up and then I drew for several hours. Only taking breaks in between doing each like section of grass or trees or rocks or whatever to ease my mind and my hands, and then get a little bit to eat. I did everything up, like almost all the line art Sunday, and then the hand frustrated me so much that I left that to the morning, and then I did that off screen, and I came back and I finished it. I'm really bad at drawing hands, so, you know, I had to look up a reference to get exactly what I wanted. If it was just me, I probably wouldn't have drawn any hands, you know, but I wasn't gonna change the position and redo all the line art. I was already deep into it. The grass was, which should be on screen right now, was a good fun adventure to do. I really like drawing grass, which probably sounds very weird. I have this really cool brush that makes, you know, grass look great. So what I do, especially when I'm doing like far away like this, I start off really small, and then each time I get bigger by, you know, so much, like 10 or 15, and I do that to make it look layered. I also do like using, when I make sketches, making colored versions, because I think that it helps me get a grasp of what I'm looking at better before I go into like the line art phase or drawing the background. Because sketches are great, like the sketches is fine, like I can visualize that enough, but slapping down some color makes it easier. And I can also spend a bunch of time working on the color off screen in the sketching phase before I have to start recording, because my recording usually starts when I do line art. I spend way too much time solidifying what I want to do for my sketches, that it usually ends up being another like 20 to 60 minutes of just poses, references, finding angles. I can't tell you how many times I was looking up Aragorn's outfit. Like, what is his, is there any pictures of his back? What does he wear on his back? It's like a sack with a bedroll and some arrows. And it was like, oh, what does his bow look like? I have to look up his bow and then draw what the bow looks like. And, you know, that itself takes up a lot of time in the background that does not make it into recording. And then I have to find reference images, and like find good, like, oh, is there anyone standing on a rock? Oh, I have to find a standing on the rock from behind. You know, what does this look like? What does that look like? Oh, I forgot to put this detail, so now I have to go find references for that detail. And, you know, it's a lot happens behind the scenes, but it is enjoyable. I was actually pretty excited to draw this piece, because I do like this scene where, after talking to the Rohirrim, Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli discover the charred remains of all of the orcs, which is this mound. I didn't want to draw anything, so I just, a charred mound is what this is. And I really like that scene in the movie, because obviously Viggo Mortensen breaks his toe, and that scream is a very real scream of pain. But also it's a great scene where we get to see his, you know, ranging action, and, you know, truly what he does for a living, and what makes him such a notable ranger, which I think is all very, you know, logically broken down. He's looking at scuffles of the, the battle. He's looking at impressions on the ground, or the way things that are broken, or something that was discarded here, or like, trails of blood and stuff like that. I think it's a great display of Aragorn as, the ranger he is, because I think we spend more time on Aragorn the fighter and, Aragorn the king, and we don't spend enough time on what made him, sorry for the sudden jump cut, but I was saying, what made him the ranger that he is today. We don't, we hear a lot about, oh, it's, Strider, oh, Aragorn is the Dunedain, but we always hear much about that, like, yo, he tracked Gollum, oh, he's pretty, good, like, he knows plants and stuff like that. But to really see that in action, I think is quite enjoyable. Yeah, so art-wise, I left the rocks for last. I really like drawing rocks. Sorry. If you hear that in the background, that's my cat trying to be a part of the video. I wanted to leave the rocks for last because that was like the one thing I knew that I can actually draw super well. Because I spend a lot of time drawing rocks. In fact, in most art pieces, I try to put rocks in there so that I can draw them. I just like rocks for some reason. So getting to draw that was great. I don't even think in the book or the movie he stands on rocks, but I thought it would be cool to put some rocks there. Because it looks a little better than just a hill, and I think it really adds to the view. Though I will say, I don't think I accomplished what a hill looks like from the top very well, which is fine. I would probably add some more shadow behind the that grass piece, and behind the rocks, and that would probably be it. The smoke looks good though, so small victories, I guess. Yeah, I have a video that's gonna come out on Christmas, so in 5 days, so I'm hardly through with it. So look out for that, and should have another video coming out probably within the end of the year, maybe, or during New Year's. I know that there's supposed to be, like, there's a video that I have planned. I just cannot remember what it is for the life of me at this current second. So I'm also planning on doing the next Clan Generator Challenge coming soon, so that should also be out next year. And yeah, thanks for watching, and have a good year.